Santa Ana, all the way. We have just Washington, you know, maybe in Japan, but we have about 23 to 30 to 40 cities viewing today. Very proud of that. We're reaching so many cities through these virtual programs and stuff. So thanks for joining us today. Feel free to shout out where you're from today.
North Carolina.
North Carolina. All right.
We used to be in Mountain View.
Rock, Texas.
Texas.
Berkeley.
Well, you're in luck because you got two Texans right here. I was born in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Yeah,
Is that Freddie from Texas?
No, that's Yarrow from Texas, your brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law, all right.
And your sister's on also.
Nice. Oh, we love Texans. Thank you. Welcome, Washington. Welcome. Hope everybody's doing well, healthy, staying safe out there. Get a nice little virtual escape to nature here.
We certainly appreciate it, Richard.
Yeah, thank you. All right, cool. So we're staying our 6 feet distance. You know, we want to lead by example and make sure that we're all being safe. Welcome to today's program. It's a beautiful morning here in San Jose. It is a little windy, but hopefully that dies down. And we are kind of almost at the top of this bridge here. A visual display of beautiful California wildflowers. Today, we're on a private property. We've been allowed to come on this property, but it is private. It is closed to the public, but hopefully one day we can open it up to the public. It does have some threatened and endangered plant species on here, one being the Santa Clara Valley Dudleya, which is endemic to this area. And so you probably haven't seen it before. And these are the guardians of this area. Today with me is Craige Edgerton and also Connor. And they're with the Land Trust of Santa Clara Valley. And they're gonna be taking us on a hike today, telling us about the property, maybe talking about some of the management that's going on here and how this area one day is gonna be just full of wildflowers.
Good morning, everybody. Before I get started, we need to start this little event with a song. And if you all remember what yesterday was, what was yesterday? Anybody remember?
Earth Day.
Earth Day. So we're going to sing a little song this morning. Connor, come over here and join Richard, join me. So you can join in. Maybe you'll get the tune as we go along. So it starts out, Happy Earth Day to you. Happy Earth Day to you. Happy Earth Day, dear Mother Earth. Happy Earth Day to you. So, as Richard said, this property is owned and managed by the Land Trust of Santa Clara Valley. It's been here about 24 years, and this is one of 13 properties that we either own or manage. So let's get started. I'm going to kind of walk up the trail here. So before we get too far up, I want to briefly explain about this beautiful green rock that we have here. This is called serpentine, and it's one of the, it's a relatively rare type of rock formation. It was formed on the bottom of the ocean and through plate tectonics over many millions of years was uplifted to this area. What's cool about it, it's a very toxic soil. It's got a lot of bad stuff in it. And so plants normally don't grow in here very well. But those plants that have adapted to grow here oftentimes are rare and endangered because they've adapted to this very, very poor soil. In fact, one of the first ones that we have, which is one of the rarest plants that we have, is a federally endangered little succulent right here. It's growing right out of the rock. Valley Dudleya. There's about 30, 32 different Dudleyas, and this is one that's called serpentine endemic. That means it only grows in serpentine soil. These are the old skeletons from last year, and the new flowers from this year are just starting to come up. I'm not sure you can see them.
Yeah.
Most people walking along here would never even see these, and that's a good thing. We want them left alone. So even though they're globally endangered, locally where we have these little pockets of serpentine soil on the rocky outcrops like this.
I'm going to put on the macro lens for you guys.
Santa Clara Valley Dudleya.
succulent. Those skeletons right there. We'll see some very beautiful specimens. I'm gonna go ahead and take the macro lens off. Ready?
Yeah, let's head on up the road. In addition to flowers, we're going to look at other things as we see them. If we see some birds up here or coyote, we'll kind of point that out. But dry, rocky area, you might think there might be rattlesnakes. And there's a few up here, but there's not a lot of rodents for them to eat up in this area. But if you do ever want to find a rattlesnake, a lot of people do want to see one in the wild. The best way is to find a crack in the rock, just like this. And you stick your hand back in there and feel around, and if you hear a rattle, you know you found a rattlesnake. Now, just to make sure you all understand, that's a joke. Don't really do that. There was a jackrabbit that backed up in there and just sat there. And for about a month, every time we took a hike down that road, that jackrabbit was sitting in that little crevice there. Anyway, that was kind of a cool thing. We are doing one propagation project. We're trying to reintroduce what's called Metcalf Canyon jewel flower.
Nice.
It's one of our federally endangered plants, and it only occurs in one spot in the whole world, and that's about 2 miles from here.
What was the name of that one again?
Metcalf Canyon jewel flower.
Nice.
And we are doing a reintroduction in 4 plots up here, trying to bring it back. And historically, there's records that it was here at one time. So that's the only propagation that we're doing. Other than that, we're just letting it go as it is. Before I go any further, okay, I have a little personal note here. I have to say hi to my grandson, Asher, my grandson, Lawrence, and my granddaughter, Genevieve. Hey, guys, I hope you all made it.
Beautiful. They say hi back.
Oh, did they say all?
Hi back from Karen.
Oh, yes. And my daughter, Elizabeth, and my daughter, Karen. Okay. They had a late, heavy rain in early March, and it created like almost a second bloom. And so this is not normal to have this amount of wildflowers out here this time of year. These are California poppies. They are state flower, California state flower. And they're very, very common. We're having a super bloom in poppies all over the South Bay. I've never seen this many.
State rock that Craig was talking about is the serpentinite, kids. And then this is our state flower of California. It is the California poppy, okay? And so we will be seeing the state grass later. If we look over this edge here, I'm just gonna set you, I'm sorry about the noise, but the view will make up for it, okay? So when John Muir came here, this is what he's talking about, ladies and gentlemen. So we looking, I'm not going to say the names of these beautiful species that are here, but we have multiple colors here. And Craig's going to take us along this little cattle trail, and this cattle trail is just going to be full of beautiful natives, and then we'll get a better look, closer look at them. This is just looking on over the edge of this area here. Okay, so let's dip down in this thing. Check this out. So we're gonna have a little special treat here. We're gonna dip down into this trail.
So here is one of our most spectacular little wildflowers. This is not serpentine endemic. It's pretty common throughout a lot of areas of California, but it likes dry, rocky areas. This is jeweled onion. It's in it's called the allium family, which is the name for onions. And this is a true onion. I could pull this stem up. I did it once before, not on protected property. And it's actually tastes and smells like an onion. It is.
Yes, jeweled onion.
Beautiful, beautiful jeweled onion here. We've got the California poppies growing right next to it. Let's see what else we got in here. We've got yarrow, which grows in this nice white, and you've seen it as we walk along. It grows real tall in these multi-clustered heads here, flower heads. Very, very beautiful. Here we've got.
And I'm going to come in too after.
What's called purple owl's clover.
I'll come in closer, guys. Don't worry.
It's not a real
Purple owl
clover.
clover?
That's what it's called.
Owl's clover. Purple owl's clover.
Owl's clover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Beautiful little heads of that. And guess what we have right here as I'm sitting, and I said it's pretty common. Anybody remember what this little succulent is I showed you in the first one?
Who remembers?
Santa Clara Valley Dudleya.
Yeah. Let me
The
put.
word Dudleya is named after Professor Dudleya,
Oh, I know that.
who was a professor at Stanford back then. He was the first one to find these. I'm not sure if he was the first one, but some of these were named after him.
Okay, guys. Here's the. I'll hold. Here's the yarrow. Let's see how close I can get, guys. Give me 1 second.
Nice.
There's the yarrow. Just a bunch of flowers. Just,
That's a great shot.
yeah, and that's what is it's umbrella? What is it? Umbrella? I can't.
They're kind of like umbels, but technically
Yeah.
they're not. They're actually
Okay.
this is actually in the sunflower family.
Okay.
So they're pseudo umbels.
And if you guys don't know, Michelle is my horticulture teacher at West Valley College. Okay.
Thank you, Michelle.
Okay. Let me hold this for you. Back up. Look at those little stamens in there, like, or anthers, excuse me. Beautiful. Beautiful. Little shot there. And then I wanted to show you this beautiful specimen. Oh yeah, and yarrow, guys. This is what the very distinct yarrow leaves here. See these? Very distinctive.
And a very distinctive odor.
Oh yeah. Okay, and then
Rub the leaf and smell your fingers.
let's see. Oh yeah, I never noticed that. Nice. And then I wanted to show them the Dudleya. Where did the Dudleya go?
It's right here. There's three.
Oh, okay, cool. Let me come in. This is a nice specimen right here. So we move this soap plant out of the way. Yeah, nice specimen, succulent, just growing right out of that serpentinite, low in nitrogen, phosphate, calcium, so low in NPK, has skeletons and stuff, and then there's more stuff here, but we'll take a look at it. We might as well. You want to? Okay.
So here we have what's called soap root or soap lily.
Yeah.
Okay. Soap root or soap lily, very common throughout California. This is the skeleton from last year. This stalk will come up about this and have these little tiny flowers on it. But the root is a real coarse,
Here's a specimen.
fibrous material.
So here's the, oh, sorry about that. I thought you were talking about this part. So that's the top part. And then Craig's going to tell you about the bulb part. So that's the top part. Craig's holding on to last year's skeleton of where the flower came out. And then go ahead and tell him about the bulb.
Here's the new flower shoot coming out here next to the old one from last year. But the bulb, the root of it, is a real fibrous, like the old-fashioned shaving brushes. Some of you might know what that is. And some of you have no idea what I'm talking about. That's okay. But it's used for a lot of things. I've actually taken and washed my hair with the soap root, and it actually suds up. Not like you would get with your normal shampoo, but it does suds up and make an actual shampoo. The Native Americans used the roots of it in streams. They would take and put a little small rock dam on one end of a stream and build a little pond. And when the fish came into this little pond, they would take the soap root and rub it like that and let that go throughout the water, and it would stun the fish. Wouldn't kill them, but it would stun them enough that they could then just reach out and take them right out of the water. This is called Ethereal's Spear. So it's a multi-headed flower. This one has probably 20 to 25 individual blossoms on it when it gets full. And it's a bulb. The plant's a bulb. I forgot the story of Ethereal Spear, but I know if Dave Burnham is on the watching, that he'll remember the story. And if he knows that and can share it with us, I would love him to do that. Are you there, Dave? Okay, I guess maybe.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, as I understand the story, in Milton's book, Paradise Lost, Ethereal somehow was a guardian angel or something of that nature, and he had this spear, a multi-pointed spear, that if he pointed it at an individual who was actually the devil in disguise, it would let him know that and whatever action they would take. So the point is, with the flower, it has multiple stems coming up from a single stalk, and I think that must be the connection with why they named it that way.
But as you can imagine, look at all those. So I'm just gonna hold them. Look, can you imagine, 2025 was beautiful. Just beautiful. Ethereal sphere. So all of those are gonna open. You see so many, so beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I gotta give him a pan right here. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let's see if we can see some. Let me get a little closer, guys. Take you on a little trip. Hold on real quick. Just want to set you up so that you see these pixelations go away. Give you a nice little quick shot.
Nice.
So you see that yarrow, we see that jeweled onion, we see those poppies, we see that serpentinite. And if you look over there, we see a city. Right? Oh, look at that fiddleneck right there, just in the wind. It's just a nice, beautiful area. So I'm just gonna come back here, join back up. I'll try to go a little slow, sorry about that. I'm just gonna come back up. This is like, I believe it's Q-tip. I think we ran into this last time. It's either popcorn or Q-tip. Oh, it is popcorn. I believe so. There's so much more to see. And then just pay attention to the sides here of Craig by our feet. Craig was talking about, the shaving thing, and that's what I think about these. These are so soft to the touch. I would like to put some shaving cream on them. So if I move this out of the way, come in, we get to see this beautiful, soft owl's clover. And then, I really don't know what those things are. Is this supposed to be like those little faces are supposed to mean something. Like, I can't remember if it's owl's beak or, I can't remember what those little things are supposed to represent or mean, or little white things. So soft. Love it. Okay. And so now we just get into this like craziness, right? Look at this. Look at these yarrows, and just get into these just everywhere. Loaded. Serpentinite everywhere. Wildflowers. Very little grasses. Anything. But they're, oh yeah. You ready to see the most Dudleya you've ever seen in your life? Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me get down here without stepping on any. Check this out. Okay. How many Dudleyas can you spot on the screen? Count them. That's just one spot. How many you see, Ron? So that's a good sign, right? Endangered species here in this undisclosed location. A little haven from the city. Beautiful specimen. Come in and show you those. Oh, look at this stalk though, right here, the soaproot stalk real quick. Sorry about that. See the soaproot? Soaproots, there's the bottom, wavy soaproot. And then there's Craig's talking about how it comes up. And then those are only gonna open right before sunset. So Ron has some good pictures on that. I just wanted to get close here real quick, show you those flowers. Put macro lens. And we come and look at these weird looking flowers. They're succulent, they're thick, they're fat, full of water. Just interesting types of flowers. Very interesting. Lens off. All right, let's go find some more stuff. There's some ethereal spear. With some jeweled onion. Oh, let me show them this real quick. So Craig, you're the one that's saying every color is a different species, right?
Wow.
This is I get down here without killing myself. It's okay, grandkids. I'm fine. So this is lichen. And so lichen is kind of a cross between an algae and a fungus. And the easiest way to remember it is Alice algae married Freddie fungus, and they took a lichen to each other. So this is known as lichen. Every color that you see is a separate species. So you see a darker orange, a lighter orange. Over here we have a white and a black and a yellow, but every species is different. Now I can't do it, but people who understand lichens can actually age a habitat by how much the lichen has eaten into the rock, to the rocks.
Wow.
They only go up to about 10,000 years. They can't go much beyond that, but depending upon what it is, but you can actually age an area by the lichen. Some recent studies have been done at UC Davis to look at that relationship between Freddie fungus and Alice algae, and they now have determined that that relationship is on the rocks. Okay, you're supposed to chuckle at this point, okay?
I told you he's full of bad joke. I told you. Hey, look, I just spotted some. I think seep willow monkey flower, I believe.
See that from here?
You know, I want to say it's in a seep, so most likely it's seep monkey flower, or it could be buttercups, but it is? Oh, great. Okay, so seep monkey flower is one to look up. It's one of my faves. So I don't know which type this is. There's different types. So this is this is very cool. Look at this way that it's set up. Very interesting. So I don't know what type that is, but I do have the guide and stuff. That one's pretty cool. This Dudleya right here next to me. Look how colorful this one is. It's like kind of red. Right next to it. There's another nice specimen for you to check out.
Wow.
Another house clover. There's Craig working his way up the trail. So I gotta watch my stepping here. Don't crush anything. I'm just stepping on rocks. Okay. Billy goat. Set this up, get the pixelations out of here. You just let that sit for a second, okay? So just looking back at what we just walked through.
We have one of our, again, not a serpentine endemic, but a very common California wildflower called cream cups. So Margot, if you're on, you sent me an email yesterday asking what that little white flower is. And so here it is, called the cream cup. And back where we first started, there was, I don't know, probably a couple of thousand.
Let me hold it. Hold it real quick. That's that little yellow in there. I don't know if you can see that yellow in the back. Stuff. But underneath the stamen and things, you can see a little yellow underneath. It's hard to catch. Hard to see it. It's hard to. There's some yellow in there. There it is. I don't know if you can see that dark yellow coast inside there. But anyhow, cream cups. Let me throw you guys into some color. And so it's just full of Dudleya, poppies, and yarrow. Also some native grasses in here.
It's called Plantago erecta or California plantain, and it's flowered right here, little tiny flowers. And there's bazillions of these that grow up in serpentine and in non-serpentine. But when the butterfly is an adult, it will lay its eggs at the base of this plant. In about a month ago, generally March, early April, somewhere in there, and the eggs will hatch out, and they'll remain as tiny larvae all summer long. And then when the first rains come, it goes into kind of like a hibernation called diapause. It's like a warm hibernation, kind of. And when the first rains come in the fall, these will then send out new shoots, and those new shoots are what the little larvae, the caterpillars, feed on. And then they grow until they get to about an inch and a quarter long. Then they go into the pupa stage and make a little cocoon and then come out as a butterfly. So we are trying to reintroduce the bay checkerspot butterfly to this habitat, but it's not working too well. It's not big enough. It's only about 350 acres, and it appears that we need more in the like thousands of acres as opposed to hundreds. So they're not doing. There's a few up here, but not very many. So anyway, California Plantago. Plantago erecta, California plantain. Very not a very dramatic little plant, but extremely important.
Cool. I love butterflies.
In fact, if I remember, this is the most important plant in the universe, and there's a reason for that. Because without this plant, we wouldn't have the butterflies here. And without the butterflies here, the land trust wouldn't be in existence. And if the land trust wasn't in existence, I wouldn't have a job. So because of this little plant, I have a job.
Nice. Thank you, little plant. All right, boys and girls. Remember I told you we're going to see the state grass. Well, here it is. Purple needle grass. You can see the purple and the little needles here. So far, you've seen the state rock. You've seen the state flower. You've seen the state grass. And maybe Craige will round up a quail for us. You never know. He's Texan. Another beautiful Alice clover. Just want to show you this specimen. We didn't see this one last time, which means it's probably kind of fresh and new. And then remember those distinctive leaves. What was the distinctive leaf belong to, huh? What did that? Oh Lord, I didn't do that. Okay, let's keep moving. Let me get a little closer. You see, it's just full. You see those grasses though? They're competing, man. They're competing. They're duking it out right now. You know, allelopathy things and competition. So our wildflowers and our wild grasses are duking it out with these non-native.
Yeah, this is a.
I want to tell you right now.
This is a non-native invasive called a flag.
There you go.
It comes on a metal stem like this, and they grow periodically out in the wild, depending on where the biologists are. Anyway.
I told you guys we got them bad jokes. All right, check this out. So some pets and I breaking off right there. So I'll show you that. Breaking off. It's full of coffee berry, a native. It's a substitute. It's actually the best substitute for coffee. Behind that is the bay laurel. But this is the coffee. And here's the sage, which I was supposed to bring, and we were supposed to smudge it ourselves. Craige, remember? I always forget something.
Very common grassland bird up here, western meadowlark. If you're in this area, you got the most beautiful call. I'll play the call real briefly.
It's
So you
organic.
can hear what it sounds like.
Western meadowlark.
If I turn the volume up, it works a lot better.
I heard a couple today.
So anyway,
Yeah.
Western meadowlark, one of the most beautiful songs. Be quiet. Okay. Okay.
Here so you guys can see all of the flowers, okay? I'll try to walk slow. It's just the hillside is just painted. It's beautiful flowers, beautiful birds singing. There's a butterfly.
Somebody just asked, what is the whitish flower all over? Is that the yarrow?
Yes. the yarrow. Really tiny, but pretty. Reminds me of forget-me-nots for some reason.
It's got that little yellow center, doesn't it?
Yeah, up close for the coffee berry. It's entire, which means it's smooth all the way around. It's alternate, so we're alternating instead of opposite, alternate. Elderberry, guys. Those are the flowers of the elderberry.
Nice.
So we're gonna make some elderberry jam. Go to the blog, Saved by Nature, for the recipe on how to make elderberry jam.
So this is the blue elderberry, and when they come out, these little individual, we got a little bird singing right here in the bushes. But it'll come out with a cluster of little tiny berries.
All berries.
Now, when you see this, you know that you are not on serpentine, because this does not grow on serpentine.
Really?
This is buttercup.
Oh.
Okay, and buttercup does not grow on serpentine. So this little area right in here is non-serpentine. So why would it be here all of a sudden? Well, if you can pan to the back behind us, Richard.
Sure can.
What has happened, the soil on the ridge behind us is fairly steep and has eroded over time. And it's eroded that topsoil down to here, and it's become non-serpentine. It took the regular soil and came off that hill down here. So we have this little patch of non-serpentine. Now, if you dug down a few feet, you would hit serpentine, but the top part has very little serpentine in it. And so we get flowers growing here that you normally wouldn't see on serpentine.
Nice.
They're not exclusively that, but you will not see buttercup growing on serpentine. You want to talk about a friend over here in the ditch?
Well, maybe just what happened to it, because there might be some people interested in knowing about that, ladies and gentlemen.
So up here we have, this is real thick grass. And if you notice on some of these hills, hillside across, the grass isn't near as thick. So what's happened over time is this grass shouldn't grow here. Remember I told you how poor the soil was? That it has very low in nutrients. And these grasses should not grow here. But they do. So why would they grow there when the soil is so poor? It's because this hill and the whole area, actually around the world, gets a nitrogen dump all year long. Where does the nitrogen come from? Nitrogen is a fertilizer, right? And so this nitrogen comes from our air pollution. You might remember what air pollution was. That's what we used to have. Remember a month ago we had air pollution? We don't have it anymore, which is terrific. But that nitrogen comes from our automobiles, from power plants, from other type of human endeavors. And it dumps fertilizer onto this hill. And so this grass grows where it normally wouldn't be growing here, even though this is non-serpentine. But this is very thick grass. But how do we manage the grass when it does grow so that we can keep the Plantago erector growing for the butterfly? We introduce cattle. Now, this unfortunate young lady, or middle-aged lady, had a problem. Over on the other side of the hill, there's houses right next to the property. And there are some oleanders growing next to the property. And she and her calf ate some oleander, and it killed them. She made it over to here before she died, but her calf died over on the other side, right next to the So, for those of you, I know oleander is a very common plant in Texas and here and a lot of places, but it's very poisonous.
All right, kids. So I want you to pay attention to the different colors you see today of lichen. Earlier we saw orange. We see, what color did we see? Well, here,
black, yellow,
here's
light orange.
if you have a box of color crayons, kids, pull them out, and as we see these different lichens, go ahead and just, you know, make a color on a piece of paper or something and see how many colors. We have this lime green right here, which is pretty interesting, right? And then we've seen that orange earlier. There's even some black here. And, you know, you probably go through your whole color crayon box by the time we're done. Look at this one right here. We have some kind of like, we have that lime green, but then we have this orange, this dark reddish orange, and then we have this like whitish, yeah, like creamish green. So just lots of different colors, okay? And as well, that applies to the wildflowers we see today too. I bet you can go through your whole color crayon box.
Remember, each one of those different colors of lichen is a separate species.
Look at this nice patch of popcorn, guys.
Oh, wow, yeah.
There's a hole, there's probably a snake in there looking at me. Let me get this one right here. Just a bunch of popcorn. And then these are the holes we're talking about. You gotta be careful for these holes right here because they give you rattlesnakes in them.
I've been doing these hikes for
102 years.
12 years.
Oh.
And I've seen 2 rattlesnakes. So they're not very common. They're pretty rare to find.
But Craig, I thought you're from Texas and you eat rattlesnakes for breakfast.
That's why they're rare. Here's a real good snake hole.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hop in, Craig.
Yeah, I'll go in there. I don't want to do it on camera. I'll do it after the camera goes away.
That's a nice one. That's a nice hole. You should be getting some yellow in your screen about now.
So this is one of our 2 iconic serpentine springtime wildflowers. It's called Gold Field, and it grows in solid masses like this. And there's areas, not only here, but in other places in California. It is not serpentine endemic. It grows in non-serpentine areas. But sometimes it looks like somebody took a bucket of paint and just poured it on the hillside. They get so thick. It's in the downslope right now. Normally these would be gone by now, but again, because we've had a cool spring and we had that late rain in March, they kind of made a second recovery. And there's areas where it's just solid yellow. You can't even see the ground. It's so thick. But we are at the tail end of that bloom right now. Generally, the best time is early mid-March, early April. We're a few weeks behind. They're only about 2-3 inches tall.
Sorry. 2 inches, 3 inches tall.
Well, sometimes they get. I've seen them as much as 6 or 7 inches tall. They can get up quite a bit taller.
So those are supposed to be like thousands of little flowers or something inside of them or something like that. Gold fields.
And I don't know if you can see whether it's going to be clear enough to see, but spread right out in front of us is a single grass, and that's the purple needle grass, our state grass. And you can see it's a native bunch grass, and you see there's quite a bit, especially right over here to the left. You can see quite a bit of it, and that's the only grass that's really growing. This is bare serpentine. We're right down to serpentine rock, and you see there's very few of the invasive grasses. There is some up here. I'm not saying none, but this is really cool because a lot of this is predominantly our native
Bunch
needle grass
yeah.
up here. Yeah. So let's go look for some bird's eye Gilia. It's really cool to see our native bunch grasses up here.
That's a nice little patch.
So here's our nice little patch of bird's eye Gilia. Little tiny flower.
Let me try my special blend.
You notice that the flowers up here are very few grow more than 2 or 3 inches. Again, because of the very poor soil. And so they only grow, you don't see any poppies up here or any of the other taller flowers. The yarrow that we saw down below, or even the cream cups. This is really down to bare.
How's the special lens, guys?
Wow. It's trying.
It's trying. Okay, hold on. Let me. Stop trying to. Yeah. Trying to get it.
They're just
It's so
jiggling.
tiny.
They are
They're
so
so-
tiny.
You're so tiny, it's hard. Hold on. Work with me, birds like Gilia. You're so pretty. Hold on. And the back right there should be good.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Look at those anthers. Bluish, purplish anthers. They're so small. They're so pretty.
They really
Is that a
are.
good shot right there?
Yep.
This is one of the. This was
They are beautiful.
gorgeous. And we don't get to see much of these too, just so you know. This is a very good location for them.
One of the cool things on seeing wildflowers is the angle of the sun,
Mhm.
because you can be walking along like here, and yeah, they look okay. It's not bad, but when you come up here, and then we're going to turn around and look back with the sun more behind us. It's a whole different view. The colors really pop and come out much brighter.
See that?
This is known as Coyote Valley. A number of years ago, maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago, it was designated to be developed into a new part of San Jose. It's been a long battle with conservationists to protect it. And as of last year, the citizens of San Jose voted in money to buy a big chunk of this land in conjunction with Post, Municipal Open Space Trust, and other organizations. I don't know all the details of exactly who, those are the two main players. And this area is now being protected. The way I look at it is someday, you've all, most of you I think, have heard of Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. Someday this will be our Golden Gate Park.
Nice.
It won't look like Golden Gate Park. It'll be different, but it'll be more of a rural area. We hope to have organic farming. We'll have wildlife connectivity between the Santa Cruz Mountains and the Mount Hamilton Range. So anyway, very, very important area. I'm going to stop right now because we have a kestrel that is hovering right on the horizon over there. I don't know if you can see it or can zoom in on it or not.
Let me see.
American kestrel.
I should be able to. Let me put on this special lens here.
He's
It just
there
dove.
you go. Put
It'll
down.
come back up though.
Come back down. There you go. Yeah.
Did it come back up yet?
Yeah, he's off to the right from where he was.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
They do that hovering. It's called kiting. There's a bird called a kite, and they hover like that. So that one's just kind of sitting there kiting and waiting to see some kind of a lizard, a snake, a little gopher, little bug, whatever it can get for breakfast. So anyway.
What time do we have, Connor? Or Zoe? Oh, it just dove right when I zoomed out. All right, let's head to this Gilia and we'll do a sign out with Coyote Valley in the background.
Cows that we bring up here to manage the grass that I talked about earlier. They mow the grass for us 24 hours a day. We don't have to put gasoline in them. We don't have to do maintenance on them. We don't do it. We have a rancher that comes up and does it.
I think they do a fantastic job on bringing our natives back. I really do. Some people, just so you know, some people are against using cattle for grazing. And I have seen with my own eyes over the last 12 years the transition of our open spaces when we use cattle to eat down the non-native grasses. Whoever is the tallest gets the more sun, puts out the more seed. And so it's a pretty simple concept. You see that there's Gilia. Let me hold it, let the pixels catch up. And now we're facing, the Gilias are facing the sun. So they're nice and open. And we can see them. It's just a beautiful time up here. Really wanted to bring you guys up here. This is the first time, I guess, people have been able to see the beauty of this place, wherever it is we're at. And morning glory, I'll show you this morning glory real quick. And these places is your backyard, Santa Clara County, Santa Clara Valley. You know, it's why we're so passionate about preserving and restoring these areas, is because we see the potential 10 years from now, how things are going to be.
So this is one of our late bloomers, is the morning glory, and in another, I don't know, couple of weeks or so, there will be thousands of those out here. We saw a lot of the plants. The plants are all over in here. It's just this is the first one we've seen that's actually blooming. But they will be another few weeks, and this will be covered with a whole different set of flowering plants.
The Land Trust of Santa Clara Valley. Make sure you go to the website and look at the great work they're doing, so that you can support the work they're doing on some of these properties. As you can see, it's a beautiful property, and they hope to open it up one day to the public, and that takes the support of the public as well. Okay?
I just have one thing. Asher, Lawrence, and Genevieve, I want a written report on this hike. And I want it mailed to me in your handwriting, okay? So that's your homework assignment. I want to hear from you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. Everybody is really appreciative.
Thank you, Zoe.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
Bye.